I do not wish to anybody to see the horrors of war that I saw. And I still feel that the consequences of war are a disaster, not only for the country that is at war, but for the whole of humanity. We all are part of each other.
Medieval Arab geographers originally described this land, long a meeting place between northern Arabs and southern Africans, as Bilad, or the land of the blacks. Sudan, the largest country in Africa, has geographically and climatically a hostile environment. The territory is divided into three natural regions: a rock desert of the Sahara in the north, covering some 30% of Sudan, a vast semi-arid region of steppes and low mountains in central Sudan, to a region of extensive swamps and rainforests in the south. The earliest inhabitants of Sudan can be traced to African tribes who lived in the Nile Valley south of the first Nile Cataract.
In Roman times, this territory was inhabited by nomads, pagans whose religion was a mixture of the Egyptian, Roman, and of local elements.
At the beginning of the 6th century, in the northern part of Sudan, three kingdoms were formed. These three kingdoms were christened in the first half of the 6th century by missionaries who arrived there sent by the Byzantine Caesar Justinian and his wife Theodora. At the turn of the 6th and 7th centuries, these three kingdoms united into one strong Christian country, then known as the Kingdom of Nubia.
The new religion appears to have been adopted with enthusiasm. Christian churches sprung up along the Nile, and the ancient pagan temples were rebuilt as churches to accommodate the constantly growing number of Christian worshippers.
Archaeological sites discovered and run by Polish archaeologists in Faras indicate that a Christian church existed in this city as early as the first half of the 5th century.
Nubia was a very well-organized kingdom in which the church played a major role as guardian of national traditions and language. The archaeological discoveries of a considerable quantity of manuscripts and inscriptions of magnificent frescoes leave very little doubt that Nubia remained true to Byzantine Christian traditions and was a cultural offshoot of Byzantium.
Nubia becomes a well-organized and well-governed, rich and Christian country, which maintains, we can say, an equal relationship with Muslim Egypt.
The 13th century witnessed Saladin's annexation of Nubia and a consequent purge in which many local bishops were tortured and killed. Christians were persecuted and churches were converted into mosques. Although the Muslim presence was strengthened, this was not yet the end of Christianity in this land.
Groups of Christians in Nubia definitely existed long after the country's collapse. The countryside was certainly Christian. There is evidence of the existence of Christian people on this land still in the 14th century and in some places even in the 15th century. When Christianity finally disappeared from Nubia, we do not know exactly. Probably it happened in the 16th century.
The Egyptian Viceroy Muhammad Ali restored Christianity's presence with the reconquering of Sudan in the 1820s. Notwithstanding the dominance of Islam, the next 20 years saw the gradual restoration of the Catholic Church in Khartoum, with the foundation of the first Catholic convents and clinics. In 1857, Father Daniel Kamboni developed a missionary outreach from Khartoum down the Nile to southern Sudan. Baptisms and conversions multiplied, as did the number of Catholic hospitals, schools, and seminaries. In 1956, Sudan proclaimed independence with an elected representative parliament. But the joy of self-determination was fleeting. Sudan reverted to totalitarian rule with a military coup d'etat in 1958. And with this, a dark chapter for Christianity began. In the name of national unity, army officers introduced measures designed to facilitate the spread of Islam and the Arabic language. Education was shifted from the English curriculum of the Christian missionaries to an Arabic Islamic orientation. Finally, foreign Christian missionaries were expelled.
When the British left, the British and the Egyptians left in 1957, the government took over the schools and left the churches only with the seminary for the training of the local clergy, the catechetical center for the training of catechists. That was all.
In the morning, since they surrounded the mission with heavy artillery pointed on 4 directions, north, south, east, and west, and they were firing like children playing games. Ding, 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 ding. And so the whole mission was full of gun and smoke. When the missionary